You walked in here, Scott, and talked about a lot of uncertainty that the consumers are feeling at the moment. How are you navigating the situation? I mean, we're going to get to some of the divestiture that you're going for as well, but what is the pulse check at the moment?
You know, I mentioned 35 years in Asia. I have been operating across a couple of industries. It's the first time I've ever seen universally customer sentiment negative, both in North and Southeast Asia. And as a result, customers are being very, very careful. So a huge pivot to value. So across all of our units, whether it be health and beauty, convenience, food, home furnishings, or restaurants, we have really hardly focused on pricing. As a result, we've had some glimmers of hope after investing in pricing over the last year or so. We've had 4 quarters of negative like-for-like sales growth, but Q2 we finally saw positive sales growth by very much focusing on mom and bringing her value. As a result, we've had to take some steps that included changing our sourcing. We used to source across our 12 markets from 20 countries. We now source from 54 markets to be able to, one, bring value, and also offset some of this tariff and geopolitical situation that we're all navigating. We turned our e-commerce business to profit and as well really cut costs. As a result, had a huge increase, 40%, both through some divestments. Overall, quite pleased that we're set up for, I think, performing well in a really tough environment.
Well, so given that backdrop, I would think that companies would go for something that is a necessity tied, really the food business instead of the health and beauty segment. But you're focusing on the other way around. So you're actually focusing on Singapore health and beauty and convenience store segments. So what is the strategy around that? What are consumers showing and signaling?
So moms and young professionals are core aspects of our customer base, and we're seeing some interesting behavior. They're commoditizing certain parts of their basket. So they're looking to downgrade into own brand or reducing from sort of a national brand to maybe more of a local brand on aspects of their daily behavior. But interestingly, they still want to treat themselves. So what we're seeing, for example, we're seeing a reduction in standard shampoo, and we're seeing customers increase into functional benefits, hair loss, improving the overall health of their derma. So we're seeing kind of this odd dichotomy where reducing the value and price per item on a core part of the basket, but investing in premium in other parts of the basket. So we think our portfolio hedges as well.
Yeah, and you're letting go of some of your capacity in supermarkets, hypermarkets in various countries, not just in Singapore. What are the implications of that? Is it definitely just a simply higher margin story that you're going for?
You know, it's around being clear that we have a path to succeeding. And I think in Singapore, not dissimilar to Hong Kong with Shenzhen on the north, in Singapore, they are facilitating movement into Johor Bahru across into Malaysia. As a result, to be able to balance all out the basket value versus JB, you need the scale of the Malaysia plus the Singapore. We saw ourselves better off as divesting to Malaysia rather than acquiring in Malaysia. And as a result, those funds are helping us return some special dividend back to shareholders.
Yeah, and you were talking about the dynamics playing out in Hong Kong, that the shoppers, consumers here are going to Shenzhen to really spend the weekend, I don't know, get a massage and do some shopping there, get nails done. I mean, that's what I'm hearing. So, I mean, just give us some numbers, some color around that. How bad is it? When did it really pick up and accelerate? And do you expect that to continue given the price difference, obviously?
So, you know, if you think about post-COVID and the opening of the border of March of last year, we really saw the pickup in about Q2 of last year. Part of it was stress release, the ability to go out and do something different. But there is a price gap. So if you had to take the top 200 food items, for example, in the standard family basket, if you were to shop, we did a mixed comparison in Shenzhen, it's 18% more expensive, roughly, in Hong Kong. So we've been investing to bring that down. You know, there are major city centers, London and New York or Paris. You shop in the center of town versus one of the suburbs, maybe a 5% premium you can expect. So we're investing heavily in our supply chain to bring that down. One, to motivate the shopper not to necessarily bring groceries back. They still may go for massages and entertainment, but we want them to keep their shopping dollars here in Hong Kong.
Are you planning to sell more assets? And is there a certain a segment that you will sell more of? And would it be a tariff-related consideration going forward?
So two aspects to that. So the first, in terms of selling, we're pretty comfortable with the portfolio. We've divested Yonghui, Robinsons, our Singapore food business. For the most part, we are now the majority owner of everything. We are now operating, as opposed to previously. We were quite a substantial, it's called a portfolio structure. But when it comes to tariff related, I think we can hedge our way around that. Look, we're a broad-based mass retailer. We have 7,500 stores across 12 countries, 83,000 team members. There is no kind of sort that you can say that you're protected from tariffs. So I think for the most part, we're sticking to just the basics of retail and making sure that we're focused on value. Value is going to be very critical for the next couple of years, I think.